Good morning and welcome to the second edition of the DGS webinar series, I'm Certified, Now What? Before we begin, here are some housekeeping items. Please utilize the Q&A function on the bottom of your screen to submit questions to the speakers and panelists if time permits. The session will have live, simultaneous interpretation in Spanish. To access this feature, select the interpretation icon at the bottom of your screen and select Spanish. If you have any technical questions, please call 916-444-2221. Again, please call 916-444-2221. This webinar will provide you with the intel on how to pursue contract opportunities with the state of California once your business has a small business or disabled veteran business enterprise certification. This will feature a live Q&A to answer your questions and also will provide you with opportunities to maximize your contract opportunities with the state. Please welcome to the webinar stage the Department of General Services, Office of Small Business and Disabled Veteran Business Enterprise Services, Business Outreach Liaison, Jermaine Carter Gibson.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. I'm extremely excited to be here for our I'm Certified, Now What webinar, number 2 in the 3-part series. So before we get started, just to make sure I am in the right place, for everyone who can hear my voice and who is excited about the opportunity to win a contract and a check from the state of California, please put yes in chat right now. If you're really excited, you can put caps. If you're really, really excited, we can get some exclamation points. Oh, there they are. There they are. Keep going. Keep going. There they are. Awesome. Thank you. I'm in the right place. I'm certified, now what? So for everyone who attended the first webinar, how many of us have gotten registered? If you've gotten registered in chat, please put registered. Who has been registered as a bidder? Okay, registered, nice, nice, nice. Registered as a bidder, awesome, awesome. Couple not yet, okay. Of those of us who have registered, how many of us have gone through the certification process? If you have, put yes or certified. Okay, 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 awesome. All right, so this is the most popular question that we get is, all right, I'm certified, now what? So let's talk about that. So the topics that we are going to cover this morning, we're going to cover the California State Contracts Register, which some of this stuff is going to be a refresher from webinar 1. And that's for a reason, that's on purpose, right? A lot of these things we need to go over a couple times, and now we're in a different place now that we're registered or some of us are certified. So now this information is going to mean a little bit more to us, right? So we'll cover the California State Contracts Register. We'll cover how to update and improve your profile. We'll cover how to research past purchases. We'll cover our small business and Dbbe advocates. We will cover our reciprocity partners, cover some resources and commercially useful functions. All right, so let's dig in. First, how do I find the opportunities? How do I search? Where do I go? Is the second most popular question. So let's dig in. So from our website, caliprocure.ca.gov, you are going to log in. You always want to be logged in. You'll log in first at the top on the right. Once you are logged in, it is going to take you to your work center. In this example, we have a supplier who is only registered and not certified. How do we know? On the left side is your registration information. This is your bidder registration information. On the right side is your certification information. So when you're looking at your work center, always remember, left side is my bidder information, right side is my certification information. In this example, our supplier is not certified just yet, but you do not need to be certified to search for opportunities or to bid on them, okay? You just get the benefits that we covered in part 1 of certification once you become certified. So to look for opportunities, we're gonna start right here in the middle, California State Contracts Register, and we will click on Start Search. Once we click on that, it's going to take us to a basic search engine. Now, this is the part that a lot of people miss, is the advanced search criteria right in the middle. So you can search by event name, event equals solicitation, okay? Why they call it an event? Who knows? But event equals solicitation. So you can search by the event name, the ID, or a given department as part of the basic search. For the advanced search, you have additional search criteria that you can add. Number 1, you can add your Unspsc codes. As you recall, Unspsc stands for United Nations Standard Products and Services Code. These are the codes that apply to the goods and services that you provide. You can also search by service area. You can, if you want to provide to the entire state of California, you can choose the entire state, or you can choose specific counties within the state that you want to do business. You have contractor license type. So for any of you that have specific licenses that are related to the goods and services you provide, you can put those in here. And you can also save your search criteria so that you only have to put this information once and you can come back to your saved searches, okay? Once you do a search, you're going to get a list of opportunities based on the search criteria that you have entered, okay? Once you go through the list and you see one that looks good, you're going to click on it and it will open up and look like this. So there's a couple things that we want to point out here. Number 1 is the event end date. You definitely want to take a look at this probably first. This is the date and time that your bid has to be submitted. So you want to make sure when you're looking at an opportunity, you know, how much time do I have, and make sure that your bid is in at that time and date and time or before, because anything after that date and time will not be considered, okay? Number 2 is your contact information. This is going to be your contact for this specific opportunity. In this example, we have a name, phone number, and email. In most cases, you may only see an email, which is good because when you're communicating via email, you have a record of the conversation, which allows you to refer back to that in the future. Now, if you have any questions, you want to ask your questions often and early. Well, early and often, right? You want to get to your questions early so that you make sure you give yourself enough time to be able to meet the deadline that we just pointed out. Next is the event package. The event package is going to have all of these specific details related to this opportunity. You want to open the event package and you want to read it thoroughly. It's going to have any pertinent dates that you need, if there's walkthroughs, if there's any special things that they're requiring for this opportunity, all of that will be outlined in the event package. So reading the event package is very important. It will also give you specifications on the items that they're looking for. Next is being able to post a vendor ad. If you do not see post a vendor ad, this means that you are not logged in under your profile. So you want to make sure you're logged in so that you'll see post a vendor ad. Vendor ads can be for primes looking for subs, subs looking for primes, or if you do any auxiliary good or service in relation to this, you can post a vendor ad in connection to this opportunity. Anyone can then go in and look at the ads and see who is also interested and who is also looking for partnerships. And it's absolutely free to do. You can't add attachments only because we're trying to keep the playing field level. Okay. Now, these are some of the things that we covered in part one, but we want to revisit them now that we are registered and some of us are certified so that we can ask any questions that we may have on searching opportunities and the components of that opportunity. This is our first chance for questions. Any questions?
Really quick, Jermaine, thank you for all that information. Just for everybody notice, there's a Q&A function at the bottom. I see some people asking in chat. I will try and find them. Really quick from Grace. She asked if you can go back on and review the service area item.
Sure. So service area that was here in the advanced search criteria. So service area is going to be counties. So here where you see the little ellipsis, you'll be able to click on that and choose a given county that you want to provide services. So I'm in Sacramento. If I only wanted to work in Sacramento County, then I would only add Sacramento County to that list. If I want to work in 5 counties, or if I want to work in the entire state of California, I can choose those options. So this is going to be, what it will do is when you put in these counties, you're only going to get opportunities related to those counties, and it will also alert us to what you're looking for. Okay, I hope that answers your question.
Thank you, Jermaine. We have another one just coming in from Imelda. I'm working with NorCal PTAC. Can you help me? Can they help me with DGS? I apologize.
Absolutely, absolutely. So NorCal PTAC is one of our partners. They are an amazing network, and they can definitely assist with doing business with DGS and with other departments within the state. We'll actually cover some resources later, and they are on our resource list of vendors that we recommend that you work with for sure.
Okay, next one from Regina. When posting an ad to a prime, how should it read if I want to work as a subcontractor?
The most important thing is I would put a sub seeking prime. Make sure that is your first line, and that will allow everyone to know that that is the intention of the ad.
Thank you. Next one from Ashok. Is there a comprehensive list of Unspsc codes which one can look at?
A comprehensive list. So there is the United Nations website, which is unspsc.org, which has all of the UNSPSCs that exist. So if you're looking for, that's going to be the best place to get a comprehensive list. It's not an actual list, but it's a search. It's a search engine of every UNSPSC code. Because what has happened is we have updated our system to where we only have the UNSPSC codes that we use. That is going to have all of the UNSPSCs that exist.
Thank you. A few more here from George. Our certification is incomplete. How do we get it complete or get help to get it complete?
Yes, to get assistance anywhere along the way. So if you're stuck or you need assistance, you're going to want to reach out to our certification team. The email is osdshelp, and I believe that Lucianne has put that in the chat. Lucianne, if you could send that to everyone, osdshelp@dgs.ca.gov is going to be their direct email address, and their entire team manages that inbox, and they'd be able to assist.
Okay, thank you. We have another one from Mohammed. How do I get help with solicitations that read want to lease X square feet in X city?
So we'll actually cover later on in the presentation where we recommend you get assistance from. So just hang tight and we'll get to that.
Okay, and it looks like we got one more here. Would coffee service and then catering be something I can offer / bid?
Absolutely.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. That's all we have for right now. Go ahead, Jermaine.
Awesome. Thank you all for your questions. All right, let's move on. So your Cali Procure profile. So it's going to include your business name, email address, addresses, all of that is basic information, right? The most important that we're going to cover today are your keywords and Unspsc codes. All right, so what is a keyword? So a keyword is a word that describes a good or service. We recommend these be individual words, the singular version of the word, and a word in any word can be a keyword, right? Examples of keywords, let's say for an office supply business, would be paper, pen, stapler, pencil. I know you're thinking, what is this keyword stuff and what is it about? So we're going to talk about that. So how do I use keywords? So keywords show the goods and services that you provide. You can enter whatever keywords that you want. And this is into your certification profile only. This is why all of this is important. Buyers use them to find you. So if I'm looking for a particular business, I can search two ways. I can search the database using Unspsc codes that relate to the good and service that I'm trying to procure, or I can search the database by keywords to be able to find the businesses that offer the goods and services that I sell. So you want to spend an equal amount of time on the keywords that are in your profile and the Unspsc codes so that your profile is searchable and robust. All right, so the question that comes up is, how do I select the right keywords for me? So when you're adding keywords, you want to use common words and jargon in your industry. You want to use synonyms of words. You want to use specific words and broad words. We want to, so let's say you know the Unspsc codes. The Unspsc number has a description. We'll want to use words from that description as your keywords as well. And you can also use keywords of successful companies on Cali Procure. And so we will cover a little bit later how to search for past purchases. When you do that, you will find the companies who won the bid, and you can search their public profile to see what keywords that they are using. So you always want to think about it in the sense that if I were a buyer and I were looking to find businesses that provide the goods and services that you sell, what would I search, right? And these are the things that the questions you want to ask yourself when you're adding keywords to your profile. All right. Next, we are going to cover Unspsc codes, which stand for United Nations Standard Products and Services Codes. These are 8-digit codes that identify a good or service. So an example here, all of the codes are in a hierarchy from level 1 to level 4. Level 1 obviously being the broadest, level 4 being the most specific. One thing I want to point out, when you're on the unspsc.org website, let's say this code on level 4 for parchment paper. When you put that code in, you're only going to see the description as being parchment paper. Within Cali Procure, to make the codes a little simpler to understand, the level 4 codes will have different pieces of the previous levels within their description, just to kind of make the code process a little bit easier. I just want to point that out to you so that when you see a description on the UNSPSC website and a different, slightly different description within Cali Procure, I want you to know why that is, okay? Now, before I move forward, vitally important, your UNSPSC codes and your profile are vitally important. Getting certified is not where the work ends, it's where the work starts. If you are certified and you have one random UNSPSC code in your profile, if I'm a buyer, I can't find you, right? And as we discussed in part one, a lot of the opportunities, well, a good portion of the opportunities may not go out to the public where you can search them on your own. They have to find you. The way that they find you is through these keywords and UNSPSC codes. So how do I select the right UNSPSC code for me? Use keywords to find the right codes. You can search the United Nations website that we discussed, unspsc.org. You can look at profiles of other businesses on Cali Procure that you know are successful. And you can use codes from past purchases searches. And when we do our example of past purchases, I'll show you how to find those as well. Now, UNSPSC codes are used for two different things. How do I use UNSPSCs? On my registration profile, on my bidder registration profile, they are used only for notifications. Notifications meaning if I put a code in and an opportunity goes out that has that code connected, I will receive an email if I opt to alert me that a new opportunity has come out. Second use case is for my certification profile. This is to promote the goods and services to buyers that I currently provide. So why are we making this distinction? Because let's say I currently offer a basket of goods and services, but I'm thinking about offering a couple additional. On my registration profile, I can add the codes that relate to what I currently provide and the codes that relate to what I'm thinking about providing, just so I can get a sense via notifications if this is an opportunity with the state. Does the state buy these other goods and services that I'm thinking about providing, right? On my certification profile, I'm only going to add the UNSPSC codes that relate to the goods and services that I can provide today, because I am telling the public and the buyers that these are the goods and services that I can provide to you today, okay? So this is the distinction between codes that I provide and may be thinking about providing later when I do my market research in my notifications. And then for my certification profile, the codes that I provide today, okay? Are there any questions about keywords or UNSPSC codes?
Jermaine, none currently in the Q&A function. Lucianne has been answering in Q&A. Folks, if you have any questions, once again, please put it in the Q&A at the bottom of your screen and we'll get to it. If not, Lucianne may answer you before we even get to it.
Thank you so much, Lucianne. You're killing it. All right. Next is updating your Cali Procure notifications. We now know notifications come from our registration, our bidder registration profile, right? So how do we update that? So we will go to caliprocure.ca.gov. We will go back to the top on the right and log in. Once we log in, we will now be at our work center. In this example, we have now elevated our game. We are not only registered as a bidder, we also have an active certification. How do we know that? We have information on both the left and the right side of our work center. Now, I want to update my notification. So on the left side, under my account, we're going to click on Manage Notifications. Now on the next page, it's going to ask, would you like to receive Sbdbe subcontractor listing notifications. What does this mean? What this means is, let's say a prime contractor is bidding on an opportunity, and they are saying that we are also partnering with your small business, and they add your small business to their bid. This is going to alert you that you have been added as a subcontractor to a bid, okay? This is to avoid primes taking advantage of the process, and also to make sure that you are always included in anything that involves your business, okay? I would recommend always saying yes to that. Number two, it's going to ask you, would you like to receive event notifications from the Cscr bidding opportunities? This is where you would receive emails as the opportunities that relate to your notifications come out. You're going to want to say yes to this question. Once you say yes to this question, you now have the opportunity to add UNSPSCs to your registration profile. So on the UNSPSC option, you can add the number if you know the specific number to the code, or you can add words from the UNSPSC description and do a search. Once you click on search, it will give you a list. In this example, I didn't know the number. I don't know the description, the full description. I just know I provide paper, right? So I'm just going to put paper in the description and do a search. It now gives me all of the codes that are related to paper products. I'm going to find the codes that align with what I provide. I'm going to click the check boxes next to them, which would then move them over to my notification section. If I move a code over by accident that I don't want, you can click on the red X or the white X in the red box next to the code, and then you can click save at the bottom. Okay. Any questions on updating your notifications to get emails on the new opportunities?
Thank you, Jermaine. We have one from Julita Martinez. Are legal services included in this kind of contracting with the state?
Yes.
Currently, there are no more questions.
Okay. Now, I want to tell you guys this, is that was an awesome question. When we asked these specific questions, my answer is going, like, for that, I know for sure that we have purchased those in the past, right? So the answer is going to be yes overall, but you're going to need to do the research with the tools that we provide to find out the departments that buy, the people to talk to, and all of that, right? So the overall answer is yes, but there is still work to do for us to figure out exactly who within the large state are making those purchases, okay? Just wanted to point that out. And thank you for those that booked one-on-one appointments after part one. You will have the opportunity to book one-on-one appointments after this as well. And we walk through a lot of these things in our one-on-one appointments. So that is also a benefit as well. All right, let's keep going. So now we're gonna look into updating our Cali Procure certification profile, right? Now, the same codes that are in our registration profile may want to be on our certification profile as well, if those are the goods and services we currently provide, right? Just because you add them to your registration profile does not automatically convert them to your certification profile. So you will have to update them in both places, all right? So we're going to go back to our work center. Under certification, we're going to click on Manage Certification. It's going to take you to your certification page. On the right side, we're going to click Amend Application. No, this doesn't mean you're going through a new application process. It just means you're updating your profile. Excuse me. Click on Amend. Now, this is the fun part. is that to make these updates, you have to be on the other tab. But unfortunately, you can't just click on other. You have to go through each tab and confirm your information before you get to other. So you will scroll down on each page and click save and continue, verifying that the information on each page is up to date and accurate. And then you will get to your the other tab, which you can then add keywords and UNSPSCs and service areas. So here on the left, you can add additional service areas. In this example, I only have 2 counties that I provide goods and services to. I want to add additional counties because I am scaling up. So I will click on add service area and I can then add additional counties. On the right side, under keywords, I will click on the plus sign to add another line to add an additional keyword. If I wanted to take a keyword away, I would click on the white X in the red box and that would remove the keyword. We'll scroll down the page and now you will have your list of current UNSPSCs. If you would like to add additional UNSPSCs, you will click on Add Unspsc Classification. That will then take you to a search criteria similar to the one that we saw before. We did the same thing, put in paper in our description. It gives us a list of all of the relevant codes. We'll click the check boxes next to the codes that we want to add. They will be added and we will click on save. Relatively simple process, but we really want to point out that adding them to one side does not automatically add them to the other side. So you want to make sure that you update both profiles. Any questions on adding UNSPSC codes to your certification profile?
None currently in the Q&A, Jermaine. You're good to go.
Awesome. Let's keep moving. Now, I've got my profiles robust. I am ready to do some research so I can focus my energy on specific departments within the state. So where do I do my research? How do I do this? So I'm going to go back to the home page. Now, if I was logged in, these 4 tiles would be right below my work center. So when you're not logged in, the tiles are smack in the middle. When you are logged in, they just move down below your work center. So I'm going to click on Find Public Procurement Information because I want to find out historically what has the state purchased in relation to the goods and services I provide, so I can focus my energy on those given departments. So I will find public procurement information and I will look at under search for, there's an option for past purchases in the state contracting and procurement registration system, also known as Skippers. I will click on that. It will now take me to another search engine. We covered this in part 1, but we want to go back and cover it again because it's very important and gives you really, really good information. So in this example, I'm going to do a basic description search for construction. And as you can tell, I'm get over 2,000 results on construction related procurements. So what is this? What information does this give me? On the far left, you get the department name. So you'll start to see that the same department names are going to come up over and over again, right? So what you're going to do is you're now taking all of these state departments and you're narrowing them down to a handful of departments that buy these goods or services most often, right? The second column gives you the purchase document. When you open up the purchase document, all of those are hyperlinks. When you open up the purchase document, it's going to give you the UNSPSC code that is related to this procurement, which is a code that I should probably add to my profile. So this is a good way to find UNSPSC codes that you know are being used. It will also give you the details of the procurement. So a lot of times if you look a couple over, it's going to give you the description. A lot of times the description may just be the first line of the procurement, right? So let's say I bought 5 things. The description may only be the first line, the number 1 thing that I purchased, but I may have purchased 4 other things. So when you click on that purchase document, it will show you an itemized list of everything that was purchased in relation to this opportunity. A couple columns over, you see grand total. So you know how much they're paying in total for this. Also in the purchase document where it gives you the itemized, it will tell you individually how much is being paid for each line item as well. Because one of the things that comes up a lot is, I want to be competitive in pricing, but I don't know how much the state is paying for these goods and services. This is how you find out, okay? One step over, it's kind of cut off a little bit, but it says supplier name. This is going to be who won that contract, who did they pay for those goods and services. Next to that, it will say their certification type. So if they're a certified firm, you will see SB for small business, or you will see Dbbe for disabled veteran business enterprise. What I would do is, as you see businesses that are successful selling to these departments with the goods and services that you also provide, you can then search their name in the database to look at their public profile, and you can then look at their keywords and Unspscs and compare them to yours to see if your profile has the same codes of the companies that are being successful. This is all public information, so there's no reason to feel bad about plagiarism, but this is a good strategy for you to make sure that the playing field is level in relation to those that are being successful selling to the state. Okay. After we do our market research to find out the departments that are buying what we sell, then the question is, how do I communicate with that department? How do I let them know that I'm ready to sell to them? And the way you would want to do that is through their small business or DVBE advocate. Advocates are state employees that work in purchasing within these specific departments, and part of their job is to help SBs and DVBEs connect to contracting opportunities. That's pretty cool, right? So how do we find them? We will go back to the home page of Cali Procure, go to our tiles under Find Training and Resources. We'll click on that tile. Under Research and Marketing, there's an option for Contact Small Business and DVBE Advocate. You will click on that. It will then take you to the advocate page, which in the middle has the advocate directory. Has an option there for download the advocate directory. When you click on that, it will download an Excel spreadsheet of every department that has their own purchasing authority with all of their small business advocates listed. This list is updated every Friday of the week. So it's the most accurate picture that we have for who is the given advocate. I've cut off the contact information in this because advocates do change. And I don't want you guys taking this screenshot and reaching out to these people because they may not be there, right? A couple of things I want to highlight in this Excel spreadsheet. Number one, under department, we have highlighted the departments who have SB DVBE first policies. What does that mean? This means that these departments have a policy that when it's time for them to make a purchase, they're going to go to small businesses and DVBEs first before they go out to the public. So all of these departments that are highlighted here in yellow have that policy in place. So if it were me and I've done my research and I've now found 6 departments that buy what I sell and 3 of them have first policies, I will probably reach out to those 3 first because I have a less competition working with them than I do with the others that don't have a first policy, okay? Next thing we want to point out is we have put X's next to the departments who buy construction-related goods and services. So if you are in the public works arena, you want to look at those departments that are highlighted there under construction, and those would be the departments that you would also want to reach out to, okay? These are the people that you want to build relationships with, and you always want to keep in mind that when I want to do business with a department, a lot of people look at the state and these departments as these big mythical things, right? There are actual people within these departments who are making these decisions and who you want to build relationships with, right? So we want to change our mindset to these big, scary state departments to the people within those departments who make the decisions that you build genuine relationships with that can ultimately lead to business, okay? Once I find out who I need to contact, I then want to reach out. As part of you reaching out, you want to send your capability statement. This is just an example of capability statements. We want to make sure that you have your Unspsc codes. Your certification number is extremely important as part of your capability statement. Any certificates or success that you may have had, you would want to add that as well. And you can get a lot of help when we talk about resources from the places that we recommend to get help from. We aren't able to assist in capability statement building, so we have made partnerships with other organizations who help with that, okay? Any question on that section?
Jermaine, no current questions. Lucienne has been answering them back to back.
Awesome, thank you, Lucienne. All right.
Anytime, Jermaine.
Next, let's talk about prompt payment. This is extremely important. Before you go into doing business with the state, you want to know how they pay, when they pay, so you can prepare yourself for a state contract, because a lot of times it's like, yes, whoa, I want a state contract. And then it's, whoa, I want a state contract, right? Because you have to fund these goods and services up until you receive payment from the state. The state does not prepay for goods and services, right? So under the Prompt Payment Act, it requires state agencies to pay properly submitted, undisputed invoices within 45 calendar days of initial receipt. 45 calendar days, not business days. And it is state agencies must calculate and pay appropriate late penalties as specified in government code. Why is this important? So I'm going to provide services to the state. So, or goods, I have to pay for my goods. I have to pay for my employees. I have to float all of these costs from the time that I win the contract, execution of the contract, to payment, right? I need to know that ahead of time, and I need to make sure that I have the finances in place to be able to execute this contract fully, right? You want to know that going in so that you can prepare to win these contracts. This can be a downfall if we don't have this information and we're not preparing correctly to win a contract. If you have any issues with prompt payment, what do? First, you want to contact the awarding department's payment office. And second, you want to contact the awarding office small business advocate. One of their functions is to assist in prompt payment issues. So if you have any issue and you haven't been paid on time, these are going to be the two places in which you get assistance. Okay. Next, we want to talk about the Sbdbe emergency registry. What is this? So we know the state of California has been impacted dramatically by emergencies, most notably wildfires and COVID in recent times. There are a bunch of other types of emergencies, but those are probably the ones that everyone knows about, right? And if you look at the spending year over year, yes, last year from the year prior, the state of California spent $2 billion with a B additional dollars year over year. And the majority of that money went to impacting emergencies, right? Trying to solve and react to emergencies. Now, I'll be honest with you, is when these things popped up and $2 billion additional dollars were spent, not a lot of that money went to certified firms. Why? Because these state departments need to act quickly in an emergency, right? They need to make sure that the goods and services that they're looking for can be provided in a quick turnaround, that they can get to this wildfire, get to this COVID breakout, get to things that the state needs. So in response to that, we now know that you can kind of predict that the state is going to continue to have wildfires, for example. The state is going to continue to have, emergencies. So we can predict, we now know the things that we need to look for, and we're going to create a registry. We've created a registry that is already live, that is separate from our certified firm database. This is only for firms that can respond to an emergency quickly and at scale, okay? So this is a dedicated portal for California certified businesses to register as suppliers of goods and services. We just discussed, unlike Cali Procure, this portal is only to include businesses that can provide goods and services for predetermined emergency categories. State Department buyers can access and search this tool to look for suppliers. So which businesses should sign up? Small businesses and DBBEs who currently are ready and able to support the state of California in an emergency. Emergency contracts require fast around-the-clock turnaround times. A business should not register. A business should not register unless they are fully capable of immediately providing the goods or services that they list. Why am I slowing down? It sounds so harsh for you to tell me not to get into a registry if, listen, the reason that we only want you to get into this registry if you know that you can have a quick turnaround time, you have the capacity, you're ready to respond. For this registry to be successful, for us to be able to divert some of these funds to, level the playing field of where the money is going, the companies that are in this registry have to be able to provide the goods and services, right? Think again, it's people that are making decisions in these departments. If I can go to Apple, just a big company that comes to mind, or I can go to you and I go to you and you do it, awesome. I'm going to keep using this registry. I'm going to be able to respond to emergencies quickly. I go to you and you can't. I may not want to go back to the registry to respond to this wildfire, for example, because I don't have as much confidence anymore, right? This is brand new and it's put in place for you to be involved in these procurements, okay? So let's all take ownership of it and let's all be responsible that we're only going to add ourselves into this registry when we have the capacity to respond. Obviously, this is extremely important and I'm passionate about it because we all want this to be successful, and it is up to us as a community, including us within the state and those within the small business and DBBE community, to take this registry and be responsible with it to see its success, okay? This is a sample of some of the emergency registry categories of goods and services that we're looking for. So like, for example, debris removal, there's been tons of money and manpower put into debris removal in relation to wildfires. But you can see a lot others that you may not think about. Portable sanitation, roadway maintenance, medical supplies. All of these things are different categories that you can find on the emergency registry website and that you can provide to the state. And so in order to register, what you're going to need is your certification number. So obviously you cannot register until you've gone through the certification process, the emergency categories of the goods and services you can provide, a description of your products and services, your business address and contact information, both primary and emergency. So if something happens at 2 o'clock in the morning and we need you, we need an emergency after hours contact, well, we can get in contact with you to be able to respond to this emergency, okay? And I believe that Lucianne has put these links in the chat in relation to how to get to the registry and how to register. Also, if you have any questions in relation to the registry, you can email Sbdbe emergency registry at dgs.ca.gov. Okay. Next, we will talk about reciprocity. The state has created reciprocity agreements with a lot of entities throughout the state, both cities, counties, and special districts that honor the state of California's certifications. So I am going to show you this page. Someone let me know if they can see this webpage. Anyone? Is that a yes or no? Looks
Yes,
good.
we
Perfect. All right, so this is the registry webpage. Sorry, this is the Reciprocity Partnership webpage, and it shows you all of the partner organizations that accept our certification to do business with them as well, all across the state. Now, each one of these may have, you know, they've got their own portals, so you may have to go through the steps to be added to them as well, or added to their database or added to their portals. But it's a streamlined process, being that you have now been a certified firm. We have just added the UC system as a reciprocity partner. So all of the UC statewide now accept our small business and Dbbe certifications. And we also have a list of utilities that accept our certification as well. So when you're getting certified, it's not just to do business with the state of California, it can be leveraged to do business with other entities across the state as well. That's going the wrong way. All right, now resources, we kind of talked about this earlier. So how do I get additional business building help and assistance for free? So for all of our new businesses, we definitely recommend looking into, well, let me start. Outside of your Chamber of Commerce that brought you here today, there are additional resources that we partner with that provide free services. So the Small Business Development Centers, the SBDCs, they offer business consulting, business planning, marketing, access to capital for free. The PTACs that were asked about earlier, the Procurement Technical Assistance Centers, these are for more established businesses that have been in business for a couple years. They assist with government contracting. We work with Cscr as well, that also helps with business mentorship. In part one, we talked about CUF, commercially useful function. We're going to quickly cover it again. To keep the integrity of the program, we want to make sure that every certified firm is providing a commercially useful function, meaning that you are executing a distinct element of the work. You're performing, managing, or supervising the work, negotiating price. You're not subcontracting a portion of the work that's greater than expected in industry practices. What does that mean? So if I'm a contractor and I win a bid to build a courthouse, it is part of industry practices for me to subcontract to plumbers, to painters, right, to do different elements of the work. It is not industry practices for me to win a plumbing contract and then go find a plumber. I win that contract for $50,000. I go find a plumber. I pay him $40,000, and I keep 10 because I found the contract. I am not providing a commercially useful function. I am just an additional participant in the contract, and that is not allowed, okay? So we're trying to keep the integrity of the program, and there are penalties for not providing a commercially useful function. So you're not providing CUF if you are an extra participant in a transaction, if you're not being used to perform the work as stipulated in the bid, and you no longer are being used to provide the goods and services. Like we talked about before, if the reason you want to be notified if a prime is adding you to their bid is because as part of that, you are going to provide a commercially useful function. They are not allowed to just use your certification number and your relationship with us as being a certified firm and win a contract because the contract says that they must subcontract 25% of the work, but not actually subcontract 25% of the work, right? And so this is the reason why I say yes to that question so that you can be notified if you have been added to a given bid, okay? So we're getting towards the end. We want to do some quick review and I want you to think of any questions that you may have. We covered the California State Contracts Register. We covered updating and improving your profile. We covered skippers. We covered the advocates. We covered our reciprocity program. We covered resources and we went over CUF again. Before we get to questions, success stories. This is extremely important. As you all go on and have amazing careers doing business with the state, we would like to know your success stories. As you get your first contract, email businessoutreach@dgs.ca.gov and let us know. We want to know. And it gives us the opportunity to highlight your business and your successes and promote you for free, right? And it also allows the community to know that these webinars and these trainings work, that doing business with government entities is possible and it's very lucrative. And there are companies and owners that look like me that are winning, right? So please share your successes with us so we can share them with the world. As far as contact information, again, my name is Jermaine Carter Gibson. My colleague, Lucianne Radimski, we're both business outreach liaisons. businessoutreach@dgs.ca.gov is the contact information. If you would like to book a one-on-one appointment, and this is fun, we have a QR code to book an appointment. And I'll leave this up for a second. How does this work? You take out your smartphone, you open up your camera, and you point it at this QR code. It is going to pop up a link. You can click on that link and go straight to book a one-on-one appointment. These are typically 30-minute appointments with an outreach liaison who can do some help. Lastly, before Q&A, we have updated and created a LinkedIn profile that we want you all to go to now and follow. Through LinkedIn, we give additional resources. We give access to how-to videos. We let you know things that are coming up. We keep engaged with our certified firms through our LinkedIn profile. This is our most impactful social media platform. So we definitely want you to follow us and add OSDS Business Outreach, the hashtag, to anything that you have to say. And you can comment on today's webinar as well. Okay. Are there any questions on anything that we've covered throughout today's presentation?
Thank you, Jermaine. Lucy Ann is currently answering one. Another one just popped in from Alan. Where can I see what requirements do businesses need to meet TI to be able to register?
Okay, so where can you find the list of what you need to register? So registration is really going to be just your contact information and your codes. Certification is where it has a little bit more requirements. This was covered in part 1, but there's a list when you go to click on Get Certified, we have a list of the documents that you need to get through the certification process before you go into it, right? So right before you go into the application, there's going to be a list and a downloadable document that shows you each thing that you need to be able to get through that process. It's all on the Cali Procure website. So as you're going through the flow, before you even start entering information, there's a list of the documents that you'll need to get through the app.
Thank you, Jermaine. We're gonna give it a second. A few people might be answering questions, but thank you all for joining us while we're waiting for questions to be answered. We do want to let you know this is part 2. Part 3 is going to be December 1st, Wednesday, December 1st at 10 a.m. So you get next week off. Everyone enjoy your Thanksgiving. I put in the chat the registration for that. If you register for this one, you should be able to do a quick registration for that one too. We hope to actually see you all there. I see questions about getting copies of the slides and the recordings. Slides will work with DGS to get approved, whatever we can send out. You will get a post-attendee email. For recordings, the first recording is on the California Hispanic Chambers of Commerce YouTube page. It's already up there. You go there, you see it, DGS webinar series part 1. Part 2, once we get it in, probably should get it by tomorrow morning at the very latest. That all depends on YouTube, but that will be up as well. So please, please, please check it out. Especially if this was your first one and you want a refresher, you can absolutely come back. I know Regina's asking for, oh, can you go back to the LinkedIn for DGS, please?
Yes, let me actually.
Asking what is the LinkedIn name so they know how to search.
I am putting it in the chat.
Thank you, Lucia.
Thank you, Lucia. And
My pleasure.
And yes, we just give it one quick sentence. Like a few people put their information in. Once again, we thank you all for attending. This is very important. I want to thank Jermaine. I want to thank Lucianne. Wonderful presentation today, and Lucianne was killing it on answering questions before we even got to the Q&A. So with that, seeing no more questions, if you have any more, please reach out to us. You can go to www.cahcc.com, or you can call us at 916-444-2221. That's 916-444-2221. I just put it in the chat. Thank you all. Everyone have a wonderful week. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving, and we'll see you back on December 3rd.
Bye, everyone.